Hi everyone, I'm Marty Durham with Wizards of the Coast Publishing, and welcome to today's Book Nook. As you can see, we've moved the Book Nook down to the Wizards of the Coast Dojo because we're interviewing Origins award-winning game designer Bruce Cordell. Hey Bruce, welcome to the Book Nook.
Thank you.
Glad you could make it today.
Me too, this is awesome.
Great. So now Bruce, as one of the primary authors of the 4th edition Realms, Bruce, this really isn't working for me. Could we please just sit down?
Sure, no problem.
Okay, thanks. All right, this is a little bit more my speed. I hope that's okay. So let's get back into the questions here.
Sure.
So now, as one of the primary authors of the 4th edition Forgotten Realms, what would you say is the coolest aspect of the 4th edition Realms?
You've got the threat of the Shadowvar from Netheril coming back from being gone for thousands and thousands of years. Mm-hmm. You've got the threat of Thay with Zaz Tom taking control of the Red Wizards and trying to basically rewrite reality completely in his own image. He failed to do that the first time around, and now that means he has to actually expand further out into the realms, build more dread towers, and try and take over larger sections of it if he's going to try it again, and he probably will. And of course, you've got the Abolethic Sovereignty, which has this city floating over the Sea of Fallen Stars, and everyone's a little worried about what these primordial Aboleths are suddenly doing, awakened and floating and watching.
So writing novels changes the way you write game design?
You know, it does to some extent. If there's a descriptive element that I can bring into a game design, I'll definitely try and apply what I've learned writing novels to that, to try and bring it more forward, to try and make it a little more have it a little more punch, and not have it quite be so dry on the page. I mean, we're trying to do that anyway for game writing, but I think writing novels has certainly helped me accomplish that.
So does being an active player and DM in the Realms, does that ever influence how you write?
You know, that's an interesting question. You would think, yes, of course it does, but sometimes it does, because if I'm researching something for my own campaign, I'll be, finding out little bits of lore here and there in the Realms, and I might be able to say, hey, I can use this in what I'm currently writing. It actually touches upon the same area. Or as a DM, if I'm playing, my DM may say something or bring something to the table that I might say, oh, I'll have to look up that later. Maybe that'll touch something. But for the most part, I would say, I've never taken a scene from my game or from my DM's game and brought it into the novel. Just nothing's really come up that way. It would be cool if that had happened, but so far that hasn't happened.
So your newest novel, which is called City of Torment, is the second book in the Abolethic Sovereignty trilogy. So what made you choose the Abolethic Sovereignty as your subject matter?
Well, to be honest, it was the publisher of the book department, Phil Athens, who came to me and said, I think you should write a trilogy about the Abolethic Sovereignty. I'm the one, as the game designer, who wrote about them and brought them into the Realms for 4th edition. I guess it seemed there was a lot, really unknown about them, and Phil thought that I would be the person on the novel side of things to write about them. So, of course, I was happy to do so because they are pretty mysterious, and what they're actually up to is a very interesting story.
So what is the inspiration behind City of Torment?
City of Torment, like you said, is the second book in the series. The inspiration that actually drove its energy, which it gained, actually didn't occur to me really until the final days of me writing the first draft of Plague of Spells. It was actually the very last day as I was finishing up that book that occurred to me how I could switch things up slightly and suddenly bring a lot of tension into the beginning of City of Torment. And because we're going to assume that people have maybe read Plague of Spells, do you think I should give away the ending of Plague of Spells to set this up or not? Maybe I shouldn't. Anyway, something that happens at the end of Plague of Spells really makes 2 or 3 different characters suddenly take a completely 3 different characters take a completely different course than they would have otherwise. It sets them up really nicely for visiting the City of Torment in the second novel, and brings a lot of tension, and even in their interactions between the characters.
So now your main character is a monk?
One of my main characters is a monk, Raiden Kane, that's correct.
So what made you choose a monk?
Well, I I've always liked the idea of hand-to-hand combatants and martial arts and stuff like that. I actually train in mixed martial arts. I take jiu-jitsu and Muay Thai kickboxing and Jeet Kune Do. And one of the reasons I actually take those classes, not only because it keeps me in good shape, but because it actually completely informs my writing. When I write about a fight scene, I can actually be pretty confident that I understand what's happening. I understand if someone does a certain thing to someone's hand and grabs them and moves them in a certain direction, I kind of know what's going to happen.
So now your novel, Dark Vision, had a character from your book, Lady of Poison.
That's right.
And then Stardeep had a character from Dark Vision. And now Abolethic Sovereignty has a character from Stardeep.
That's true.
So I'm sensing a pattern here.
Yes, there's a continuity there.
So who's going to show up in your next series?
I think I actually do have a book on the horizon after this trilogy concludes. I don't know if I'm going to be able to grab one of these characters because it's kind of taking place far afield. However, that said, I did write a short story that's taking place in this area. That short story will be out in The Realms of the Dead, coming out in January? Okay. So I'm thinking that character, she might be able to make an appearance. So I can continue that sort of continuity, at least from the short story to this novel I'll be writing.
So do you enjoy that your novels have this kind of common thread of characters?
Yeah, I do that completely on purpose. I like there to be, for someone who hasn't picked up any of those previous novels, they won't know or care that maybe these characters had some previous history, but for someone who has read those, they will be satisfied, and hopefully, they'll like this character enough to see that character kind of come to the fore and kind of become one of the more main characters. Usually it turns out that kind of a secondary character, not a side character, but a secondary supporting cast character will then make the transition to the new book, because as I'm writing the first book where they're a supporting character, I'll find, wow, this person's actually very interesting. And so it kind of becomes a really easy way to bring forward. And usually there's 3, 4, 5 characters. And if the next novel comes along and one of those characters' circumstances lend themselves to one of those characters, I'm like, perfect. I mean, I already have this character thought about. This character's already appeared in books, already has a background. So it kind of adds to the verisimilitude. Did I pronounce that correctly? to the setting. So I enjoy that a lot.
So now, can you give us any hints about what we have to look forward in the final book of this series, Key of Stars?
Well, as exciting a setting as City of Torment is going to turn out to be, the place they actually visit, you'll actually find that is actually just a precursor to some place that they must actually finally venture to stop the overall thrust of the Abolethic Sovereignty's plans, or at least the direction they're moving in. So that will be very exciting. Also, with the main character, Raiden Kane, there's something he's been searching for actually ever since he was first introduced in Stardeep as one of the secondary characters, and he's kind of been looking for it ever since, and he may very well find some aspect of that, so that'll be very exciting for him.
All right, well, thank you for stopping by the Nook, Bruce.
Oh, no problem. Thanks for having me here.
All right, thank you, everyone. Hey, we're introducing a new thing in the Book Nook with this episode. You have a chance to win an autographed copy of City of Torment autographed by Bruce here. All you need to do is go to our website, wizards.com/books, and click on the Book Nook icon and to look for official rules and entry instructions, and you can win a copy of this book autographed by the author.
Yay.
That's the Book Nook for today. Thanks for stopping by, and we hope to see you again soon.